Welcome to episode number 288 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for all of you marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. You can find us by searching Beyond Social Media Show. We are recording on November 10, 2019. A lot of things to talk about this week, including bots against bullying, James Dean revived, viral chicken, virtual empathy, Arm & Hammer's cats, Twitter topics, B2B bot, digital political ads, coming on the last episode we talked about, and army bots and much, much more. BL kicks it off with the best story of the week. As always, BL, what do you got?
A lot of bots going on this week, right? Well, this is, the goodness bot is meant to make the internet a kinder place by transforming negative tweets into positive ones. And what's interesting about it is that it comes from Monica Lewinsky, who was basically patient one in online public shaming. And she was probably the first victim of public shaming, but that was pre-internet. And she's been fighting online bullying. And last month with BBD&O, last month was Anti-Bullying Month, she launched this remarkable public service announcement called The Epidemic, and it's showing you a teenager who tries to kill herself, and right in the middle of the emergency room scene with the parents crying, it says, put in your phone number to see the rest, and then it says, check your phone, and you see this whole a barrage of the messages that this girl got on her phone to make her do that. It's really an impactful thing. So the Goodness Bot, which was launched this week, is recognizing you have to tweet at Goodness Bot, and it recognizes negative words and phrases, and then it changes them into positive ones. But it's a little bit weird. Like one tweet that the guy who wrote about this tested read, "The Democrats are tearing this country apart. They're wusses, wimps, and weasels." And the bot changed it to, "This isn't hide and seek, don't hide your love." So maybe it has a way to go. I don't know. But but Lewinsky,
algorithm.
Yeah, right. Lewinsky said, "We want those being bullied to know they're not alone and they're not invisible to people who care." And someone named George Sorellis tweeted, "I think you're going to be very busy." So, it's really a needed thing, but someone with the handle Photo Mixtape said, "Is there a separate and special hotline for the tweets coming from the White House?" And I could have put the statement from Twitter's public policy director, his name is Carlos Monge Jr., in the worst section, because he said, "Our singular goal is to serve the public conversation, including protecting the safety of people who use our service. We care deeply about bullying prevention." Well, I don't think so. It doesn't appear that way on Twitter. So, but anyway, I think it's a very positive step in the right direction. And, with Monica Lewinsky as the spokesperson, I think that's rich.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's a very, very clever campaign to trigger it by typing in sending a text and getting the actual the responses that somebody who's been bullied got. That's pretty powerful. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. It really is. So good for her.
So BL, are you a James Dean fan?
I am.
You are? Have you seen all of his movies?
I love the old movies. And I don't know if I've seen all of them, but I've seen enough to know he was pretty hot.
I got you beat. I'm a fan as well. I've seen all of his movies. This is a story about James Dean. This is from USA Today's Maria Puente, who writes that Magic City Films has obtained the rights to cast James Dean in an upcoming movie. He's going to take a second. Well, he's going to be alive in the movie. He's taking a secondary lead role in a Vietnam era action drama called Finding Jack. So the movie's based on a novel of the same name by Gareth Crocker, and tells a true story about the abandonment of thousands of dogs, canine units during the Vietnam War that were, quote, surplus military equipment at the end of the war. And it follows the adventure that ensues when a smitten soldier refuses to leave his best friend behind.
No, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. So James Dean will be cast in the role in this film. Dean, of course, was the star of 3 films, Rebel Without a Cause and East of Eden in 1955, and Giant, which was released in 1956 after his death at 24 years old. So he, in 1955, died in a car wreck. 24 years old, an icon of the boomer generation, sort of the personification of teenage angst and isolation. They are hoping to release the film on Veterans Day of next year. They're going to obviously be using visual effects to recreate Dean. There's a Canadian firm called Imagine Engine and a South African firm called MOI Worldwide that are working on it. Mark Rosler is the head of CMG Worldwide. It's a licensing company that represents the Dean family. And he's quoted in the article saying that this is a rapidly evolving new frontier with his long deceased clients. So this, film technology is evolving to the point where it's becoming more realistic. We've had several examples that we've talked about in the past. And I've marveled at that and said, I can imagine Humphrey Bogart coming back to life and being in a film or in an advertisement. So this is happening. I'll be interested to see how the movie turns out and how realistic the recreation of Dean is. I think it depends on that. There's a lot of backlash online among actors, obviously.
You can't blame
for
them.
obvious reasons, yeah. So we'll be interested to see it. But it is a thing. It's going to happen. It's continuing to happen. And there will be marketers will be taking advantage of this new phenomenon.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I just saw Motherless Brooklyn, and in Motherless Brooklyn, they recreate New York's Penn Station, and there's people walking around inside it, and it's all computer generated. And then the office building that Robert Moses was in was just this sort of ugly thing, and they put computer generated. They put beautiful murals on the walls, and they just made everything look better. It's absolutely seamless. You can't tell that it's not the real thing. And I'm sure that they're capable of making this happen. I want them to bring back Lassie. So, everybody's probably heard about the Popeyes chicken sandwich. It went viral. And this is from an Adweek story by Diana Pearl. And I think it's really interesting because she said what was most impressive about the sandwich's popularity is it happened without Popeye or their agency that handles social media. So in August, the Popeyes chicken sandwich became this viral sensation on Twitter. And within a few weeks, it was sold out nationwide. So according to this article, Black Twitter not only started the product's earliest buzz, but they launched it into social media. And that's what led to the sold out restaurants as the company itself tried to catch up. So, Black Twitter, if you're not part of it, you can't find it, is a cultural and social phenomenon. And it's not an audience you can target and connect to with traditional methods, but that makes the endorsement all the more coveted because it's authentic. And they discuss politics. Sometimes you'll see the hashtag Black Twitter on the post, but they discuss politics, pop culture, and they look at it through the daily lens of shared experience. And so the global CMO of Burger King and Popeyes, which I'm surprised that they have the same CMO, but anyway, his name is Fernando Machado, and he said Black Twitter has outsized impact that literally launched and propelled the conversation to 2 million tweets and 3.3 billion impressions. It was Popeye's biggest competitor in the chicken sandwich space, Chick-fil-A, that was a catalyst for turning this thing into a full-blown fervor. Chick-fil-A tweeted a message that said bun plus chicken plus pickles equals love for the original, which in my opinion is pretty strange that they did that. But Popeye's social media person, whose name is Angela Brown, said there's buzz around our quality product. It's delicious. And when you add the known conservative and anti-LGBTQ ideals of our competitor, Chick-fil-A, this formula equals one insecurity-ridden tweet. So Popeye sent a tweet back, and that got 323,400 likes and 86,000 retweets. And it's what came after that that turned the sandwich from a buzzy new product into a conversation driven by Black Twitter, because the sandwich went away for a while, and then last week it came back and immediately sold out. But sadly, a man actually killed another man who he says tried to cut in front of him in line. And then a woman in California crashed her car while trying to get a chicken sandwich at Popeyes. I mean, it's just a chicken sandwich, you know, guys. But
you give the really good chicken sandwiches.
Oh, you had one? No, I don't eat chicken.
Popeyes
I don't do feathers.
Fantastic, yeah.
Is it?
Don't have many. There's one in St. Paul. I don't know of another one in my area. Certainly they aren't in my area, but yeah, it's like a once a year thing. If I'm in the area, I'll go and stop by Popeyes and have it. It's not really healthy food, but
no, it's not. It's not. But I haven't eaten chicken since my sister-in-law inadvertently poisoned the entire family with a Purdue oven stuffer roaster that looked and tasted fine and nearly killed us all.
Yeah, well, you know,
ever since then, yeah, it looked fine, you know, that was the thing. But yeah, I remember my dad called me the next day. He said, "Are you okay?" I went, "No, I'm sick. I'm going home." He said, "We're the last two standing."
Oh my God. Well, at least you didn't get stabbed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. On a happy note, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a fascinating article by Fortune's Emma Hinchliffe, and it's about a new VR-enabled training program for diversity and inclusion, developed by a Pittsburgh-based company called DDI. The program is intended to teach executives, mostly white males, their employees' experience at work, and it has a scenario where the person participating in the VR experience is in a meeting where you are trying to report a set of findings to a group of your peers and superiors. The simulation places a bunch of familiar sets of challenges before you. You're meeting with the attendees you're with are cutting you off as you're trying to report your findings. There's decisions that are made at lunch that you weren't invited to. You're accused of being just too sensitive, and you're left to just return your reports and kind of dismissed as not being able to get your job done. So DDI's training takes advantage of, obviously one of the biggest advantages of virtual reality is the ability to create empathy by putting you in another person's shoes. The firm works with 78% of the Fortune 500 in some capacity, so given that large base of clientele and that reach, there's potential to really change how leadership teams understand this exclusion dynamic. So their first version of this program was mostly male executives committing the same slights. The real life men who participated in the training didn't register that they were being excluded.
Really?
So there's a quote they had a quote from someone saying, "Yeah, we had a few guys going, hey, what's up?" They felt like they were part of the group. So obviously that wasn't going to work. So they flipped the script basically, and they put women in the seats. The women were the people who were cutting people off and doing the things that men usually do in meetings. So by doing that, they're able to get those people, the guys who didn't have a clue. But it's a fascinating program, and well, put a video in the show notes for people to check it out.
Yeah, I can think of several people who I wish had seen that before they spoke and cut me off in meetings and took my ideas as their own. And yeah, and I was too sensitive. Anyway.
I got another topic here related. So I did some at a company that I work for. I did some training for security stuff, like, how to not get fall for phishing expeditions and stuff like that, typical security training. It was the training were videos of animated videos where they showed scenarios of things that you need to know about and avoid. But the characters in the video there was a woman, there was a guy of color, and there was a white male. And the white male was the one who was the doofus idiot who didn't know shit, right? And I'm like, I get it. I understand, why you did it that way. But there's a lot of white males who are going to be offended by that. Because, I'm not a dumb shit. I know about these things. So why are you portraying someone like me that way? Well, it was just a really ham-handed effort at creating a training video.
Most of these are.
Yeah. They should have just used aliens. I mean, seriously, just
I have a
make them
story they could
aliens.
use. Yeah, I have a story they could have used. I'll get to that. But this is one about cats, and mine is locked in the bathroom at the moment. But Arm & Hammer challenged fans to like and share a video, and that video, it was about Arm & Hammer cat litter, and they said if the video reached 2 million views, they would donate $10,000 to each of 2 cat welfare organizations. So the video is by a person who goes by I Am Mo Show, the cat rapper, and it got nearly 9 million views. So to thank fans who watched and shared it, the company donated $20,000 each to the cat adoption team in Oregon and ACCT Philly in Philadelphia. And I Am Mo Show's video has all these cat owners dancing to his song with their cats. It's adorable. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But what a nice thing for them to do. And who knew there was a guy called the Cat Rapper?
That's very nice. And by doing so, they save the internet because the internet is held together by cats.
Absolutely, it is. Every Saturday. That's quite obvious on Cat-a-Day. Go ahead, Dave.
So this is, we've talked about this before, but now it's coming to fruition. This is from Social Media Today's Andrew Hutchinson, who writes about Twitter's topics that are coming soon to Twitter. So according to Twitter, this is a quote from Twitter's release. On our home timeline and in search results, you'll see prompts to follow topics. Tap the follow button in the prompt and we'll personalize your Twitter experience based on your interest in this topic. We may also match you with other topics that we think you are interested in based on your profile and activity, such as tweets you view or like. So this is the full launch is set for November 13th, so a few days away. And Twitter's expanded its curated listings to cover 300 topics of general interest. Politics will not be one of them, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. The listings will be created based on a combination of machine learning and human curation. So the human editors will be there to keep the topic streams focused and to filter out junk. I'll be fascinated to see how they implement this, whether once you follow a topic, that the tweets for that topic will start appearing in your stream, or if it will be a single stream of that topic that you can follow, which is like kind of what I'd prefer.
Me too.
But we'll see how that rolls out. But I haven't seen it yet. I checked my Twitter feed and I haven't seen it, so I'll wait for it on the 13th.
I still don't have the lists thing that they supposedly rolled out, or you can look at your different lists. So they talk about a lot of things, and then they don't actually roll them out. So we'll see.
Yeah, you can try it on mobile, because
I use it on mobile.
You gotta swipe through them. So if you go to your mobile app and just from the home page, just swipe, you can probably see them. I'm surprised that you wouldn't have it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I use mobile mostly for Twitter. Okay. But anyhow, I don't have any more good news. Do you?
I do not. Let's go to the worst.
Okay, well, this one's really kind of crazy. This is from a story in The Drum by Rebecca Stewart. And basically on Instagram, B2 bot advertising is really prevalent. And so they made a list of the brands that were most fooled on Instagram, and Febreze came in #1, and Baby Einstein was the runner-up in the 10 most fooled brands on Instagram. And advertisers have, just about doubled the amount of money they're spending on Instagram influencer campaigns since 2018. And in the past 3 months alone, 65 million has been wasted reaching fake followers, with household brands like P&G and Disneyland among the top spenders who were duped. And according to figures from influencer measurement company InstaScreener, North American advertisers allocated $478 million of their budgets to influencers in Q3, and Instagram took the lion's share of that, getting $340 million worth of the spend. And that's an increase of 95% over last year, which is kind of amazing. And most of that 65 million was funneled into fake eyeballs. So P&G's Febreze was crowned most fooled brand, and they reached mostly bots instead of people. And InstaScreener's analysis indicated that 54% of the ads reached bots. The multimedia kids business, Baby Einstein, was second with a fake follower rate of 51%, followed closely by women's sanitary product, Carefree, then Disneyland, then Green Chef, who I don't know who that is, and Zappos, and they also made the top 10 list. And for its part, Instagram has been investing in machine learning that's going to auto-detect fake accounts, but apparently they're not making great progress. And last year it pledged to purge fake likes and comments from its walls, but it's been clamping down on businesses that sell fake followers to influencers. But anyway, of the top 10, it is really quite interesting to see. And I will post the chart in the notes.
Yeah, well, they will be removing likes, whether they're fake or not, or so that's
from
that's
Instagram. Yeah. Kind of weird. Well, they'll be removing them publicly. You'll still be able to see them in your account. But, you know, that behavior of seeing likes does generate more likes. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, that's true, but it's also, it will be fascinating to see how marketers deal with, I mean, that is something that people pay attention to from as a marketing metric.
Yeah.
And how marketers react to the absence of them publicly, and whether there's, you know, whether the tactics change simply because, do you want the likes for the fact that they are public or not, right?
Well, we'll find out. Yeah, I mean, whether that's going to make a difference or not. But anyhow, give us some more bad news, Dave.
More bad news. This is going on from our discussion from last week about banning political ads. You came down on you just want to ban them because you don't want to see them.
Yeah.
And I made the argument that I don't think you should ban them, but you should, as the FEC chair said, you should limit the targeting ability of them.
Right, so everybody sees them.
So yeah, so they're public, but you can only limit them to a congressional district or whatever. This is another argument. This is from TechCrunch's Jessica Alter, who argues that banning digital ads is outright is a bad idea. The first point she makes is that it won't reduce the amount of money in politics. It's just going to shift that money to less transparent channels. And you know, some of those channels can be these advocacy groups that are allegedly advocating, but they're really political. So
right.
So there's that. She also said that it's going to hurt the very candidates that people should want to help. So the people who have the resources, it's not going to affect them. The Donald Trumps of the world, people with a lot of money, they're still going to, banning digital ads they'll still be able to get their message out because they have the resources to do so. But the candidates, the challenger candidates, the candidates who are better able to challenge incumbents are going to be hurt by this, because this is an effective medium for them to do it. It lowers the advertising cost, so it expands the set of candidates, and you know, more candidates discussing more issues is presumably better for us all. So the lesser known higher quality candidates may not be able to participate as well. And how some of her solutions is adding a nutrition label to political ads, basically a one-click thing that identifies the funder, their location, their budget, and their target audience. Those are four
I
essential
like that a
pieces of
lot.
information I think that should accompany any political ad.
Yeah.
And then enhance consumer beware acknowledgments. Basically, if you're not going to fact check ads, then warn people that they're not fact checked, that they need to do their own thing. But I think that the first solution, though, the nutrition label, coupled with the limiting the hyper targeting, is a great solution for it without having to ban political advertising. So, just my question to you: are you still up for banning ads?
Well, I would rather not see them at all, but if I am going to see them, I would very much like to see a notice on them that they are not fact-checked. I think that's a really crucial one. And I don't know, what do you think, Lucy? But yeah, obviously they're not going to be banned altogether. So there does need to be a way to deal with them that makes sense to, to everybody. But I'm not sure I agree that the lesser known candidates are going to have less of a shot.
Well, I mean,
this.
It's just that
they already had less shot because they have less money.
But because it's more effective and less expensive than traditional advertising, it's a lot easier for them to make ground than it has been in the past. And the people who are either celebrities who already have a huge audience and will get earned media because of who they are, Donald Trump, i.e., or have a lot of money behind them, are going to have an outsized advantage over those who don't.
Well, that's always the case. I mean,
right, but why make it worse?
Change.
Why make it worse for challengers?
Well, that's true. So yeah, well, this issue is not going away, and it's not resolved yet either. So Lucy decided that she wanted to join the show. So here she is.
Lucy obviously was not locked behind the tape.
No, but this story is about robotic dogs, so it's appropriate. And these robots are not cute. The source of this was Robot and AI World, and it was a tweet about how MIT made an army of these tiny, quote, virtually indestructible cheetah robots, and they can do backflips in unison, and they can play soccer. And so Robot and AI World tweeted, here's more footage of MIT's mini cheetahs cavorting, frolicking, backflipping, playing soccer, and generally acting fun and cute, courtesy of the Biometric Robotics Lab. Well, they are not cute, particularly not if you're a person who watched Black Mirror. But there's video of the robots that look like these huge cockroaches doing backflips and playing soccer. And the more I look at it, the more frightening they become. And Carolyn Boyle tweeted, if they can do backflips, they can be programmed to tackle people. And in the Black Mirror episode, Metalhead, the last surviving human was trying to get away from these horrible robotic dogs. And so there's an excerpt from that episode that was tweeted by Charles Tam, and I'll put that in the show notes. But they're the stuff of nightmares. They are not adorable, and they are very scary. And when they get together and realize what their power is, look out, it's the end of the world.
Well, we already have swarm drones.
Yeah.
And so this is the land version of them, but for me, it's an episode. It's a scene from Minority Report.
Yes,
yes,
that's
the little spider.
The spiders are back. They look like a cross between dogs and spiders. Really, just horrifying.
Yeah. But cool.
I mean, we like robots, but I don't think you're gonna like these when you see them.
Right. So,
they have a bunch of them. They have like 20 of them on the lawn, and they're all like running around and jumping, and it's not cute. So that's my bad news for the week.
All right, let's get on to shiny news stuff. What do you got?
Okay, well, I have one. It's called Color Story, and it's had more than 12 million downloads, and it's free, but it has in-app purchases, and it focuses on photos and videos, and it has a library of 100 effects and more than 300 filters that are designed by photographers. And rather than forcing you into a single look, you can go from all of those apps, all of those filters and effects, and add them to your photos and videos. It's quite impressive.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Mine is not new, but extremely valuable. This is the Moz Pod podcast. So actually, they're no longer podcasting. It was a weekly podcast that Moz did that ran from October 2017 to August 2018. It covered a wide variety of SEO topics, one of which I'll put a link to in the show notes, tackled structured data 101. So explained structured data and schema and its role in SEO. So schema is like when you see in the search results the star ratings for a given website or recipe things in the search results, that's schema. So it's a particular aspect of SEO. But this podcast covers a ton of different topics on SEO, goes into in-depth, has interviews, and if you're interested in SEO, it's a great thing to run through. So a great resource.
Oh, that sounds terrific.
Mm-hmm.
So I see you have some projects, Dave.
I do. So I've got a collection of blog posts on email reputation signals. So these are the most recent of which is holiday emails effect on your brand reputation. So we're going to start getting a ton of holiday promotional emails in our inboxes. How people react to those emails affects a brand's reputation and how algorithms read that activity. So these are a set of blog posts that I've written about reputation signals that email can send. They'd include 9 email sender reputation signals and 5 email sender reputation tools you can check out. So I'll put links to that in the show notes for people to check out.
I'm already getting holiday emails. It's annoying as hell.
Uh-huh. The problem is that most retailers, the preponderance of the emails come during this time of year, and then you don't hear from them ever again.
Yeah,
and so you don't
true.
interact with their emails, and you're not going to, a lot of these emails that people are sending this time of year will just go directly to spam because there's no interaction, there's no engagement on behalf of the recipients that keep them in your inbox.
That's really interesting. So I have a political one that is hilarious. This week, Michael Bloomberg announced his entry into the fray, and so that brought back El Bloombito on Twitter. And it's a parody account that makes fun of Bloomberg Spanglish. And it is really just hilarious. And I found this in a New York Patch story by Noah Manskar. And El Bombito has 80,000 followers so far. And it tweets things like, Bloomberg has tried to speak Spanish and he's reading it, and it's terrible and it's funny. And so everybody makes fun of him. So it says things like, yo runningo para el presidente porque un billonero de Nueva York está exactly what el contrio needs ahora. That's one of the tweets. And then the hashtag was El Bloombito 20 Tito. And then that roughly translates to, I'm running for president because a New York billionaire is exactly what the country needs right now. And in the hours since since it came back, President Donald Trump Cabra tweeted Vice President Mike Pensadojo, what did he say? Little Michael will fail. And Bloombito has, El Bloombito has slammed the wealth tax and Bernie Sanders and no wealth taxos. Todos el dinero están mine was one of the Friday morning tweets. And the real Bloomberg, who's worth about 52 billion, might agree. And so está morningo un americano, Bloombito tweeted Friday morning, buenos dingos. And it's a parody account run by someone named Rachel Figueroa, and she's a writer and an artist, and she's of Puerto Rican heritage. She tweets under the handle Jew-Eurekan. She started El Bloombito in 2011 when she watched him speak Spanish in his nasal New York accent after Hurricane Irene. It's hilarious. So do take a look, and there's a YouTube video of him speaking Spanglish.
All right, well, check that out. Let's wrap this up?
Yes, it's funniest if you're a New Yorker, really.
I think it's a little too much work for me. I may just watch him try and speak Spanish. Yeah, so this is most effective Instagram content. This is from SEM Rush. The first one, it should be obvious, still image posts are the most effective. It is the native format for Instagram. 64% of businesses that use Instagram said that. A 52% said both stories and videos. User-generated content, 28%. Presumably that's like posting of user-generated content. Partnerships with influencers. This is the most interesting. Only 20%. So influencer marketing maybe is jumping the shark.
I have a feeling it's already done that.
Yeah.
Enough bad stuff about them. So yeah, that's an interesting study. I look forward to reading more about it. So that brings us to the end of episode 288 of the Beyond Social Media Show. And you can find us by just searching for Beyond Social Media Show or telling your home Amazon, what are those things called, Dave?
Echo.
Echo, no, but the other things.
Google Home.
No, besides Google Home, what do you call the whole thing?
Smart speakers.
Smart speakers, yes. Just tell your smart speaker, play Beyond Social Media Show. And I'm here with David Erickson, who's on Twitter as D Erickson, on Instagram as DE Erickson, on YouTube as eStrategy, and he blogs at e-strategyblog.com, which I highly recommend to you. And he's a content machine. And I'm BL Ochman. I'm at What's Next on Twitter. My blog is What's Next Blog. I'm on YouTube as What's Next Blog. On Instagram as NYC Tap Dancer. And the show, again, BeyondSocialMediaShow.com. And on Twitter, we're at BS Media Show. And we'll be back next week. And see you then.
Thanks for watching.